Hello, 1, 2, 3, everybody. This lecture is basically me saying to myself, I didn't get the appropriate treatment growing up as a child. And so I don't even feel the need to say sorry. And I'll tell you why. Because one thing that I've always begged the world of, and the world has always rejected this, is precision in language. I want to be, in fact, I almost need to be precise in my language. And I don't feel like sorry is an applicable word for me from my perspective. So I refuse to say something that I do not believe in. Louis C.K. had a similar problem where he basically outlined, sorry, I'm just getting tired now. Stay with me, stay with me. Stay with me, boys, please. I know it's mostly boys right now, right? Louis C.K. outlined a similar thing where basically he said, this is what I believe to be true. I had an abuse of power, and I regret it, and I'm going to step away. And for some people, that wasn't even enough. They were like, but he didn't say the word sorry. And yeah, so I'm not going to say the word sorry because the feeling that I feel right now isn't sorry. The feeling that I feel right now is confusion, a little bit. But frankly, I feel a lot of clarity too. I do. Because what I have is a complicated list of problems. It is a large list of problems, and it's complicated. And one of them, I wouldn't call it Marfan syndrome, because apparently to have Marfan syndrome, you have to be really tall. But I definitely have some sort of thing where I get very, very exhausted very, very quickly all of the fucking time. I also have this thing with complex PTSD where I'm triggered quite easily. I've been diagnosed with bipolar, and I don't believe I have bipolar, but I've been diagnosed with that, and also I've been diagnosed with autism and ADHD, and I should probably look into them further to see exactly what they are. So I hope people can empathize with me. And also I hope that it's okay for me to just ask for empathy. Because it seems like there's this weird rule where you're only allowed to chastise yourself. Which I used to do all the time, by the way. I used to performatively chastise myself and say, guys, I'm the problem, I know I'm the problem. And people would go, yes, you're being self-aware. That's a good thing. But at some point I had to be like, guys, sometimes I think I'm right. And you guys all think I'm wrong. Like a lot of you. One time in school, I remember this actually, everybody got their hands down for the question, I think. I was the only one that raised my hand up. And I was the one who was right, and I felt this intensity that it was like a premonition, that I'm going to spend a lot of my life being stubbornly correct, or at least stubbornly not aligning with myself with what I believe to be true, and also... yeah, there's a lot we can talk about here, but I don't feel like I'm a transgender woman. I came out as a transgender woman purely because I thought that was a simpler path to take. I've always felt non-binary or gender fluid or gender non-conforming would be better. Sometimes I would wear dresses in the shopping center and I would look at my face like this. And this face, accompanied with a dress, felt very off for me because I feel like dresses are meant for pretty girls, pretty women, people who wear them well. And I didn't feel like I wore it well at all. And of course, this is a combination of factors, one of which is that dresses, as of right now, they're designed for more feminine figures. So boobies, big butts, shorter. It's just not built for us, which is, by us I mean males who went through testosterone-based puberty. Now, when it comes to comedy, I just want to point out something, and this is very important. I didn't do comedy purely because of all my disabilities, but I spent a lot of time doing comedy partly because I was so crippled by my own issues that I felt like I couldn't do anything else. Now, frankly, I don't detest comedy, and I would still do it if it was a paying gig or even a non-paying gig, but I'm just letting you know, when you're exhausted, when you have rejection sensitivity, which I very much do, when you struggle to communicate with people, when you struggle to belong, things that you want to do, like animation or theater or making video games, they seem completely out of the question after a while. And that's kind of why I stuck with stand-up, because it felt doable until it wasn't. And the reason it stopped being doable is because I have this need, okay? The need I have is the need to tell the truth and to say what I believe to be true. A lot of people have been outcasting me and ignoring my messages and saying they're concerned for me. But I'm just letting you know, I'm not really concerned for me because I don't consider myself a person yet. I'm pretty dissociated from myself. But even still, even with that dissociation level, I'm just letting you know that the only dumb shit I really do is shoplifting. I just got caught shoplifting, and it was a crazy story, and the guy asked for my identification, and I showed him the only ID thing I had, which is a sticker on the back of my phone from the hospital stay I was recently at. And he took me down and duck, and said, hey, you're banned from every Woolworths and every Big W for the next 6 months. So if they spot you, they will report you, and you'll go to prison or jail, and you'll get molested by a clown or whatever. So anyway, that's a stupid thing I do. That is a stupid, impulsive thing I do. But I'm just letting you know, I get away with shoplifting a pretty big chunk of the time. Like, I got caught shoplifting from Woolworths twice. July last year and July this year. And that's why the only punishment I had is a 6-month warning. Plus, the only thing I stole last time was $15 worth of shit. And this time I stole literally a 1 pack of, what are they called? Spring rolls. So, I was almost going to say sardines, but anyway. Yeah, man, my life has been really difficult. When I was a kid, I wanted a lot of things. And that's also part of the problem, which is it's shameful to want a lot of things. And I've always wanted to want a lot of things, or that I've always wanted a lot of things. And I've always been shamed, and so that's kind of why I, not fully arbitrarily, but I kind of arbitrarily picked stand-up. I was like, well, I'm already doing it, and it's very low effort, and so I'll continue. But listen, it's been hard. And I don't want to lay any more blame on Steph, because I've already said everything I wanted to say about Steph Broadbridge. So for this message, I want to say this. I blame a lot of people. I know this isn't the most palatable thing to say. I know it's more palatable and lovely to say I blame myself, but in my heart of hearts, not everything is my fault. And in some ways, I should have been more nuanced, but let me tell you something, man. When you're going through some hard shit like I was, you don't understand nuance at all because you're just not tapped into the same frequencies as others. And when I say frequencies, I mean literally like night and day cycles, Monday to Friday, the weather and stuff like that. I just wasn't attuned to any of that. So there's a lot of messages that I sent that maybe I should have sent literally an hour later with a little bit more disclaimers. But what I want to emphasize is I'm not sitting here self-blaming for lack of nuance when I was so fucked up and distraught that the idea of nuance wasn't even in my brain. So I want to help, by the way. I want to help the comedy scene. I want to make it better. And in order to help, one of the things I had to do was just, just get it all out there. Just and there's a lot I had to get out there. The scene is fucked. It's a slumlord mentality. It's exploitative. The festivals are kind of shitty. Most comedians are mentally unwell, and it's not a fun thing at all, by the way. Please listen. Please don't joke about everybody being mentally ill in a way that implies that it's like funny, because it's not funny. It's really upsetting and disturbing when a lot of people around you have clear signs of mental illness that may be bipolar, maybe something else. I don't want to be labeling specifically because, again, I'm not a clinical psychologist, but it's clear there's something going on. Like, I'll give you an example before I wrap up, because I'm going to wrap up soon. I did a scene with Brett Weinstein? No, Brett from Flight of the Conchords. He was on stage and he was like, I'm looking for an actor, eh? And I was like, I'll do it. And then he was like, I don't believe you're an actor. And I was like, I am an actor. I've acted and stuff. And so I did the scene with him, and we were like, and I killed it. And everyone was like, fuck yeah, dude. And then the next week, I was at a comedy show, and I was talking to these comedians, and I was telling them, like, I was just doing a scene with Brett from Flight of the Conchords, and one of them interrupted me and said, yeah, I sucked his dick. And I was like, huh? He said, yeah, I sucked his dick. I was 14, he was 19, and I sucked his dick. And I was like, but he's 49 years old, and you're in your 30s. So what? I didn't say that out loud, but that's just like an example of what it's like to be around mentally ill people, man. It sucks because it really took the wind out of my sails in that moment. I was like so ecstatic that I did something weird and out there, which is share a scene with the guy from the Flight of the Conchords, and his response was somehow to lie and pretend like he sucked his dick. So yeah, man, it's brutal. It's brutal. That's the title of the video, I think.